So the example that we were seeing yesterday was that we have some XML data, right? Suppose it is in the, like, we have stored it in the form of string, but okay, we have some XML data in our main. That is the main thing. Now we have a tool. We have a third-party tool. Okay, so the tool is called, say, JSON Analytics tool. JSON Analytics tool. So from the name itself, you can understand that it takes data in what? In JSON form. Yes, everyone can understand that much. Yes, that it takes data in the JSON format, and we have data in XML format. So this is the problem that we are trying to solve. Okay. So how do we convert this to this? The point is that we have XML data somehow. This is our client. And we want to use this tool. This is the third-party tool. Okay. So it expects data in JSON and we need to use it. So we need to structure somehow, because this is a third-party tool. We cannot make any changes in that. And we want to use it. It is a very good tool. So how do we do that? So basically, in between, what we are going to do, we are going to add another class that is basically going to take our data in XML, convert it into JSON. Does this sound simple? Does this sound logical? That, yeah, okay, we can do this because we need to use the data, the tool, right? So this sounds logical to everyone? Yep. Can I get more? Yes. Cool. So simple stuff, right? We are taking the data in XML and putting it into JSON. Now we have to make it more generic. And what do we use to make things more generic? What do we use? Like, what is the answer to all our problems? Yes, interface. I can see a lot of you already saying that. Very good. So what I'm going to do is, basically, I am trying to adapt to incompatible classes, right? Incompatible classes or incompatible interfaces. Like, I am trying to use the tool and that is not compatible with, say, my client, and I'm trying to make the two incompatible things work. So I don't know how many of you have gone to, say, Europe or somewhere outside. You must have heard this problem happens a lot. The charging ports that we have, like in our chargers, those are different, and the ones that are there in Europe, in US are different. So basically the charging points don't work over there. So we carry one extra adapter to convert from the, say, charging port that we have to the port that is there in US or Europe, and we can use it. Right. And you must have heard of this, right? USB to, say, some other type, also USB to C type. What is it called? It is called an adapter. You say that I want an adapter to make two incompatible things work together. So this thing that we are going to make work is basically going to be called adapter. But to make it generic, what we are going to do is we are going to have an interface first. So how is it going to look? There is going to be an interface. And the interface is going to say that, okay, you have to do this. You have to fulfill this particular request. And why am I making it an interface? Why am I making it generic? See, when I have an adapter over here, okay, when do we use interface? We use interface when we have to tell all the subclasses that you have to implement this particular request. You have to have this function, right? I am telling you, this is the contract. I am forcing you to have this, right? So I'm going to have this request. For example, right now I have just, say, XML to JSON adapter. And my client is using this to convert, to be able to use this tool, correct? But tomorrow, say, for example, I don't have data in XML. Maybe I have in some other format, say HTML, or in some other format, right? I should be able to extend it. I should be probably be able to add more adapters if needed. OCP. Make sense? Now, I guess this much would be very sensible to everyone, right? Have interfaces when possible, try to make it extendable, try to make it maintainable. Think of OCP. We should be able to think of more cases. Yes, now I guess everyone is able to think of this much, right? Can I get yes? This is making sense? Yep. Okay. So whatever tool that we are trying to use is actually called the adaptee. So we are trying to adapt to that. And this thing is called adapter. Right? So this is the concrete adapter basically, and that is the interface for the adapter. We have to have this request. This much is clear for everyone. There is one client who is trying to call the tool or the adaptee, but it is incompatible. So we made something else in between. There's an interface and there's concrete adapter. Now there is concrete adapter, and here we did the conversion. Here we have done the conversion from say XML to JSON, but now I also have to call the tool and I have to actually do the analytics, right? Like what was the point in the end? The point was to not just convert from XML to JSON, but also to run the function that would have been there inside the tool. So say tool had some method called say analyze data, right? And it is expecting what? It is expecting JSON. So we have converted from XML to JSON, but we also have to call this analyze data. Yes. We have to call it, right? Make sense? Guys, can I get yes? Yes, we have to call this analyze data. So what am I going to do for that? Okay, now all of you start thinking that I have the data in JSON now. Now I should be able to call this analyze data. So what am I going to do is inside this my adapter in the concrete one, I'm going to do adaptee.analyze data. See adaptee.specific request, or you can say tool.analyze data. Yes, this much makes sense? Yes? Makes sense? No, simple stuff, just adding one adapter in between. Now the point is that how we are going to keep this adaptee, this tool inside this concrete adapter. How we are going to access this adaptee inside this concrete adapter, that is going to make it of different types. So adapter design pattern is basically of two types. One is called object and one is called class. Let me tell you. So when you are going to have adaptee as an object inside this concrete adapter, it is going to be object adapter design pattern. Versus when you're going to inherit from that class, it is going to be class adapter design pattern. I know it might be confusing. I'm going to tell everyone. I'm going to tell again. So full focus over here. Yes, I'm repeating. Relax. We'll also look at the code. See, I said that there is one client, there is one tool, incompatible. We added some structure in between to make it extendable. I added one interface. After adding the interface, I did what? I wrote my concrete adapter. Now, in my concrete adapter, I've done the conversion from XML to JSON. So now I have the data in the correct format, right? I have it in JSON format now. But I also have to call the function analyze data. That was our entire point of doing all of this, right? That I want to be able to analyze the data in JSON. Like I should be able to call the method that is there in my adapter or in my tool. But now to do that, I should be able to call it, right? And to call it, there are different ways. Basically, I should be able to access the tool from this concrete adapter. For now, let's look at this way, the object way. In the object way, what I'm saying is that I'm going to keep adaptee as an object or as a data member inside my adapter. So basically what is going to happen is that in my adapter, so if you look at the adapter, so if this is my adapter class, it is like this. I am essentially going to have the adaptee or the tool. Okay, so I'm going to have tool as a member. And inside this, whatever say analyze data is the function. What I'm going to do is from here, I'm going to call tool.analyze data. Make sense? This is one way to write the code. What is the way? That I am keeping this tool or the adaptee as an object or as a member. So yes, this is a has a relationship. Has a. This is one way of doing it. See, the crux is what? The crux is that there are two incompatible things. You want to be able to connect them. You have to structure your things such that you are able to call analyze data from this client somehow. And you want to make it extensible. Okay. So this is one way that I'm going to keep it a has a relationship. Now, has a can be aggregation or composition. That is not the crux. The crux is not that how you're going to access the adaptee from the adapter. The crux is that there is an adapter in between. There's an interface. You're making it extensible. Make sense? Yes, no? Okay, is it similar to a wrapper class? Not really. We are going to talk about that. We are going to talk about the wrapper later, after, like in the next design pattern. but this is not essentially a wrapper. This you can say, like you can think of wrapper because it is an object inside. You can think of, okay, we are wrapping it. But if you think of it like that, then what is going to happen is that you won't be able to visualize the interface and adapter. What is the crux of this design pattern is that incompatible objects make it extendable, should be able to add more adapters. Okay, let me show you the code and then let's discuss more in detail. Let me show you the code. So this is the object one. Give me 1 second. This is where I am. I am closing everything else. Okay. Everyone can see the code? Yes? Everyone is able to see the code? Okay. Just look at the code for now. We'll discuss everything. We'll discuss the class adapter also later. Right now, we are discussing object adapter. What is an object adapter? The adaptee is like an object or data member inside the adapter. Okay. So this is the analytics tool, right? This is the adaptee. This is what we want to use. This is what we want to use. It has some JSON data, and inside this, what do? We do the analysis. So here for demo, we have written how that if there is JSON inside it, then that means that I can analyze it. If JSON is not there, then it is not the correct format. I cannot analyze it. Make sense? Yes? Make sense this much? This is the analytics tool that I want to use. Okay. Now this is my interface class that I've created. Now this is the one that is setting the contract, or this is setting that any adapter who inherits from me has to have this function, analyze data. This analyze data, right? So this analyze data function has to be there in all the adapters. So this is the interface that we have created. Okay. And what is this? Is the concrete adapter from XML to JSON. There could have been another adapter, another concrete adapter. It would have been, say, HTML to JSON adapter. Yes. So now here you can see that in the constructor, I am doing the conversion because I passed it, and so I converted and kept it. But you could do it in, say, analyze data also. You could create different class. The point is not where you are doing the conversion, how you're doing it. You could do the conversion over here in the constructor. You could have a separate method. Don't worry about these details. The point is that the conversion is going to happen inside the adapter. And from inside the adapter, you're going to call tools.analyze data. What was this tool? Remember, JSON analytics tool. This is the adaptee. This is what we were trying to use from the very starting. So this is what we want to use. This was a problem that we want to use the JSON analytics tool. So I am using it and I'm keeping it as a member inside this XML to JSON adapter. Make sense? Yes, I'm going to show the Java code also. Okay, let us just look at the main. So in the main, what is going to happen is that I have some XML data. So I have some XML data over here, right? First, if I try to, and so this is my JSON analytics now. If I send the XML data, it should not be able to analyze. It should throw us the error. And what I'm trying to do is now I am trying to make the XML to JSON adapter. And if I use that, I should be able to analyze. Okay, so let me see where I am. I am inside class adapter. I want to go inside object adapter. And I'm going to run XML to JSON. So here you can see when I ran it, not correct format, can't analyze, right? This is the sample data. If I just added JSON inside this, if I just added JSON, it should start working. How is it going to work? So let's see. I'm going to say, if I do just this, analyzing JSON data, this is sample data JSON. I was able to analyze it. But if it is XML, I was not able to. So if I remove JSON from this, if it is not JSON, I will not be able to analyze it. Okay. So since this is not like, cannot use this, cannot pass it to the tool, it is not going to work. I made one adapter. So this is the interface. So the base class is the interface. This is the concrete adapter, the XML to JSON adapter. I am passing the data and then I'm analyzing. Let's look at the Java code also. Same thing only. This is my JSON analytics tool. This is what? This is the adaptee. This is what I'm trying to use, right? This is the adaptee. This is the interface, right? This is for basically adapters. So I am telling like a contract for adapters, or it is basically a template, not template, but a contract for adapters. Basically, all the adapters will be forced to implement this abstract method, analyze data. This is the analyze data. This is the concrete adapter. So this is the concrete adapter. Okay, XML to JSON. Here, again, I am saying that right now I'm doing the conversion in the constructor itself, not necessary. I could do this conversion, say, over here. Okay. Maybe like this XML data, I could have this separate XML data. Instead of passing the XML data over here, I could have passed it over inside over here and then done the analysis. Different ways of writing it, not like a huge concern. And this is our main, what we are doing. We have some XML data. Again, I just passed something. If there is no JSON inside this, it will not be able to analyze it. But now, like over here, it will be able to analyze because this is the interface type and this is the adapter. So in the adapter, I am sending it and I will be able to analyze. Make sense? Yes, no? The object part, the object adapter design pattern is clear. Why is it object? Because in the adapter, this analytics tool, the adaptee, is like a data member. It is an object. The object is the member inside the adapter. Yes? Someone is saying not clear. Can you tell me what part is not clear? I'll be able to help better. Let me just stop sharing and let me... Okay. Okay, I've given you the permission to unmute yourself. So whatever doubt is there in object adapter design pattern, only in that, ask that. We will cover a class adapter design pattern after that. Any doubts? Anyone has any doubt?
Yeah.
Hi, Keerti.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had a doubt. So in the Java class that you shared for adapter pattern, ideally all these classes should be in like separate files, right? Like not in the same class. The interface and
Like for demo purposes, if you see, for all the design patterns, I've showed it in one class only, like in one Java file. It is easier to show you like this. Obviously, it has to be different files. Even in C++, there will be separate CPP, HPP files. I had done it in the factory pattern to show it properly. But obviously, for demo, it is easier like this, right? So, yeah.
So what is the use of this adaptee? Adaptee is only for the conversion purpose?
Adaptee is the one that we want to use. Analytics tool is the one that we want to use. Yep.
Okay, then why do we have an adapter in between? Why can't we just directly call that adaptee function?
Because it is expecting JSON data, but we have XML data.
Okay, so adapter in between that interface is changing from XML to JSON?
Yeah, not interface. The concrete adapter is. Did you join date?
No.
Okay. Okay. See, interface is basically saying that you need to analyze the data. The concrete adapter is where the actual conversion is happening from XML to JSON. And then we are accessing that analytics tool and calling it.
Okay, so adaptee is just for accessing the JSON data.
Adaptee is the one that we want to use in the end, the tool. Let me show you the thing again. So this is the adaptee, the tool. The tool is the adaptee. We want to use this tool, right? Client has XML data. This is expecting JSON. That is the main problem that we are trying to solve. There is one tool, there is one client. This tool is expecting JSON. This guy has XML. How to do now? Incompatible. So added one adapter. But to make it extensible, added one interface first. Added one interface. And in this interface, what happened? We told that you need to analyze the data. Now there is an adapter. So right now there is XML to JSON adapter. There could be any other adapter. That's why I said if there is HTML data, there could be say HTML to JSON adapter. These are concrete adapters. So the concrete adapter is the one who is going to actually do the conversion. Here the conversion is happening in the concrete adapter. And then we are calling this tool ka analyze data and we are passing the JSON.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so one question. One question I have, like adaptive object can be passed as argument also, right? In the adapter.
In the adapter, adaptee can be passed as an argument. Let me share the code.
Yeah, adaptive object.
1 second. So here you are saying that in my main class, here the adaptee is basically this tool. So you want to pass it inside this adapter.
Exactly. Yep. Yes. Is that possible? Right. In this design.
You can, but like why? Oh, okay. You can, like you want to pass it as an object inside this.
But what do you want to do with it?
Huh. What is the purpose that you're trying to solve?
Just to make it more dynamic. That's all.
How is it more dynamic that you are passing the tool?
If you require another tool to do the same thing, like if another tool also wants XML to become JSON, so it's easier to like reuse
Yeah,
it, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to do something like that inside this adapter. So the tool that you have maybe is of some other type, and then there can be multiple tools inside this, and then you can send it, and yeah, you can. If you have multiple tools, you can probably do that. So you have multiple adaptees. Yeah.
Hi, Keerti. Sorry, Vishwanath, you can continue. Sorry.
Sorry. So I wanted to take one real-time example. Like suppose this example, currently JSON is already present, okay, and JSON tool. So currently existing thing is using the JSON object dot something analyze data, okay. And now the client has requested to use XML. Okay, so in that case, my existing thing, which is using the JSON dot analyze data, so it has to be changed. So it is changing now. Means I don't want to change it actually. I just want to adopt easily without changing.
Firstly, I don't think you understood the problem. Like the problem is that the analytics tool, it's a third-party tool. Like it is expecting JSON.
Okay.
There is a third-party tool, the JSON analytics tool. It is expecting JSON, and what we have is XML.
Yeah.
It is not like I am changing something. Maybe there was some JSON, maybe there was some XML analytics tool that we were using earlier. Now we are not using that. We are moving to a new tool, which is JSON analytics tool. Now it is incompatible, right?
Yes.
Here is the part like where you are confusing.
Think more. Okay.
Okay, again, let me repeat. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Again, let me repeat the problem statement. Just look at this. I have one XML data. Okay, forget everything else. I have XML data. Okay, this is XML. I have one JSON analytics tool. It is JSON analytics tool. So it is expecting what? It is expecting JSON. But I have XML. So how will I send JSON if I have XML? So in between, in very simple terms, I have just added one class that is doing the conversion for me. It is converting my XML data to JSON. That is what my concrete adapter is doing. It is doing the conversion for me. And then it is calling the JSON analytics tool and saying that now you analyze. Now you do the analysis. The JSON analytics tool is analyzing after converting it from XML to JSON. Any doubts?
Keerti,
One question.
Keerti, why can't we use strategy patterning?
What is the point of strategy? That we want different algorithm. Do we want a different algorithm? I am not running any algorithm.
Maybe we want different adapters, no? Depending on the situation.
Different adapter. So that is extendable, right? Like, but okay. What is the crux? That there is a third party, it is incompatible. I'm trying to add something in between. How you're doing the conversion is what adapter is doing, right?
But sometimes you'll have XML data, sometimes you'll have HTML, no? So that you can pass as strategy.
That is why we have an interface and we have this. You can say that this is an algorithm to do the conversion, But what is the main problem that we are trying to solve? The main problem is that we have two incompatible things and we are adding something in between.
Reason we're not using strategy is that we're not deciding in runtime what algorithm we want to use. We already know it beforehand because we already know if we have HTML data, we have to do certain steps to convert it to XML. In case of JSON, it will be something else.
Yeah, so maybe like your logic can be, let's say, if you have multiple adapters and if you were doing like, let's say, hypothetically, you are following a strategy design pattern, your if else condition or whatever it is, like which algorithm you're choosing will be in the runtime code. Like, okay, you will be after running, then you will decide which language, which data is coming, then which data you are going to convert. But here you are not going to do it in runtime. You are going to do beforehand. Okay, I'm getting this type of data, so
Right.
directly use this.
Right. One quick question, Keerti. Why are we initializing the tool inside the concrete adapter? So my reason, I think we should do it inside the interface only, right? I mean, the way we.
So if we have, again, so I said, so you are saying you want to use the same tool, so you can keep it inside this also. You could make it protected and do that. For me, suppose there are different adapters and you want to, like, for example, you want the adapter for different tools. Like you have one adapter, but then there are different tools. Like, for example, there is XML to JSON, XML to HTML, something like that. Right? So you can have your tool inside this that you're converting to what, but you can use the same interface. You can add it over here also. I have just made it like this so that if you have different tools also that you want to use, the adaptees are also different. That is why I've written it like this.
Okay,
Yeah, okay.
I have one question. Like here, what we are doing is we are creating the interface where we have the functionality which tool is providing, so that we are forcing all the concrete class to implement that functionality. And suppose that tool is having means n number of functionalities. So are we going to force all the concrete class to implement all the functionalities using interface?
They are not implementing the functionality. I'm calling the functionality from the tool.
No, correct. We are calling, but are we forcing the concrete class to call all the functionality to using the interface?
If you need some functionality to be called in every like child of it, like whatever you want to adapt, if you have something that needs to be called, then you will make it concrete, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like that has to be called.
user wants to call that third party, you will force it in the adapters also.
One quick question
Sorry,
again.
come again. Okay. What you said? I just missed.
Suppose you have another, so the same tool gives some other functionality function too, suppose, and you want that user to be able to call that functionality of that tool. So you will put that again one more function inside the adapter, and from adapter you will call again the tool wala functionality.
Correct. So basically what we are doing is we are means whatever functionality we want to call, that we are putting inside the interface, so that all the adapter will have to implement that functionality.
Yes.
That is why interface. We are forcing our concrete adapters to have analyzed data.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I think more or less everyone has understood. Can I quickly tell you about the class adapter also? It's a small difference only.
So one last doubt I had. So for example, here you are having the analyzed data inside this thing, right? Adapter, right? Can't we just return the output, like return the JSON output, and from the client only we can move a call to that. Move a call to.
Where are you asking me to return the output?
So for example, in the above function, right? XML to JSON adapter, right?
This is the constructor.
Okay, so directly can't we just like create a similar kind of function that will convert the data from XML to JSON and return the JSON data, and that JSON data could be directly used at the client level to process it via the third class.
Okay, so you are saying create no adapter, just make one function over here.
No. What I'm saying is, so as of now, we 1 second, we are we are calling this analyzed data JSON analytics tool, right? Via adapter, right? Why can't we just call it via the client, right?
So you're saying why need an adapter? Just do the conversion in the client and call it.
No. In the adapter, we can in the adapter we can do the conversion, but for calling we can make use of directly via client.
Acha. So your client will have, like, you will return the JSON back to the client and your client will call the analyzed data.
Yeah. So basically adapter will, I mean, now what the adapter is doing, adapter is having two responsibility. It is converting as well as it is making a call to this analytics tool data as well, right?
Yeah, but we want the user not to think about conversions.
Like you
User should
can
be just
make this
analyze
better.
data.
Yes. So
That's the main point.
the main point is that our client should not have to worry that, okay, now it has been converted and now we are doing that. We are just telling the adapter that this is the XML data and you analyze it.
Okay, got it. So basically, okay, encapsulation of conversion as well as the analysis.
Correct. And if
Yeah,
you want,
even the conversion, what we are doing in adapter, that we can even make it further. We can do it in another class.
yes,
Right.
that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
But the client should not know about like there is a conversion happening. So why
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
we include the adapter inside the adaptee only? If we include an object of the adapter inside the adaptee, so that the client doesn't even have to know that
Adaptee is a third party tool. It is a third party tool. I don't have access to that. I cannot change to the JSON analytics tool.
Okay, say
Remember,
in case it's our tool only, then can we do that?
you can, but then the whole
we can
point
change
of
API only.
Keerti, isn't it like it could be anything? So this tool can be anything. So we should not focus much on this tool. It could be any other third-party tool.
correct, and
We can
we
write
should
our
not have
custom
to
tool.
worry about how it is
Our focus
analyzing
is
what. The focus is
our
that
focus
it
is
is
main adapters.
yes. Think of it like this is an API that you need to call, and the API is expecting JSON. That think of it like this: that adaptee is basically something in third party you have, but it is expecting JSON. Right?
It expect XML, right? XML, it will give you JSON.
We had XML. It is expecting JSON analytics. It is okay. Like the point is that it expects one format. We don't have that format. Okay. I am quickly, guys. Give me 5 minutes. Let me cover the other thing also. Then I'll get back to the questions. Okay. Okay. Can I get yeses? Okay. Everyone is listening, right? Everyone is awake. Yep. Everyone is awake. Okay. Cool. Can I get more yeses? There is literally 4, 5 yeses. How will I come to know that you guys are listening or not? Okay, cool. Thank you. Just one why will also do. Okay. So right now what we did was that the tool was inside the adapter. The adaptee was like a member inside this adapter, inside the concrete adapter, right? It is the object of it is a member of it. Now another way to do it would have been that my adapter, my concrete adapter, inherits from the tool. See, it was already inheriting from the interface class. So this was there. Now it is also inheriting from the tool, the adaptee. The point is that I want to somehow get the data, right? Like I want to be able to access the tool. So I can access it like this. This is one way of accessing it, right? This is a typical problem of has a versus is a, right? So you could have said like the earlier code that we saw was has a. So our adapter has a tool. Adapter has adaptee. Over here, what I am showing you is that adapter is a tool. So it is an interface. It is an analytics tool, and it is also JSON analytics tool. So I'm using is a, right? Now, there are multiple problems. First of all, the first problem is that this is multiple inheritance. Not all languages support this. So you can see I have not written Java code over here. Why I have not written Java code? Because Java supports multiple inheritance. How? Java people tell me. If I want multiple inheritance, what will I have to do? Yes. So in order to achieve multiple inheritance, both of these have to be interfaces. Now this is already an interface. The third party that I have, the JSON analytics tool, either this should also be an interface. If that is the case, then in Java, I can do it. But it is not a good way to do it. Multiple inheritance is usually said that avoid it, right? Because it is not supported by multiple languages. It is supported in C++, but because it is not a very common thing to do. That is why object adapter design pattern is the one that is more common. Class 1 is not used. See, again, focus on the crux of the problem. What is the problem? That two incompatible. The third party tool, the analytics tool, is expecting data in JSON. We have it in XML. Now, how my adapter can call this analyze data of the tool, that we can discuss. It can be either has a relationship or is a relationship. If it is has a relationship, then it is going to be what? It is going to be your object adapter. If it is going to be is a relationship, it is going to be this. See, I could have forcefully written Java code. I can see someone has pasted it. But in order to do that, I would have to make this interface. Right? I would have to make this interface and then done multiple inheritance. But it is third-party tool, not necessary that we have the interface. And it might not be possible to do it. So better to focus on the object adapter and not get confused with class adapter. So this is a typical case. You will hear this a lot. Whenever you have confusion between has a versus is a, it is usually better. The gang of four who actually came up with the design patterns say that when you are confused between has a versus is a, it is better to go with has a. And this is a very good use case of that. Because see, if you do is a, you might end up with problems like multiple inheritance. Over here, see, if you think about it, you could have said that this is an adapter. It is an analytics tool. You could have argued that this is also like it has characteristics of JSON analytics tool, and it could be is a also. But if we think about it, we don't want all the characteristics. We just want to be able to call the analyzed data. And has a relationship makes sense over here, right? Has a is a makes sense? No, yes. Okay, now I'm going to let you unmute yourself and you can ask me questions. Very simple thing. The point is that you can do has a or is a. The better thing to do is has a. You have the adaptee inside the adapter. Any questions?
Keerti, is it necessary to keep the name of the method same as what is there in, like, you have kept the name same? It's just the syntax, is it? Or I could have used execute also, or I could have written.
Used anything. I have just used the same.
So here, Keerti, why without interface as well we can do it, right? Because in analytics, so JSON tool is having the analyze method only, and we want to only call the analyze method, means whatever methods
Right now we have the analyze method. Right now we have only one method. What if I have multiple methods? What if I have multiple concrete adapters? For the example, I've shown you one concrete adapter. What if I have multiple concrete adapters? XML to JSON, HTML to JSON, whatever, and I want them to analyze. Suppose I have another method, say, not just analyze print data or something like that, or log data or anything like that, right? So I want them, I'm forcing them, all the concrete adapters, that you have to implement these methods.
Yeah, that is understood. But here, what we wanted to do is we wanted to call the methods that adaptive, whatever methods are available in the adaptive, only those methods we are interested. And there is no additional method is required, right? So instead of in interface,
Why?
we can
Okay,
add it.
okay. Can we look at it in this way? Okay, let's say that right now you are checking only analyze tool, and then after that you are saying that okay, you have only one method which you are interested, right? What if I tell you that there is a case or there is a particular situation where to convert from, let's say, one format to another format, you need to do something in between as well. Like you need to have 2-3 different functions processing the data, or maybe you are calling 2-3 other third-party functions which you have written to process the data. In that case, you want all of the concrete classes to implement all of those, right? So in that way, you can think that instead of thinking only one we have right now, in future we may have multiple. So right now, whenever you are comparing in between declaring a interface or not, you might think of it as a future door through which you are able to expand on future possibilities of processing or output or whatever it is. So you are doing basically for extendability, the interface.
Very good. So the basics, the first class, make it extensible, make it maintainable. So tomorrow, like if I write one adapter and I go and someone comes and writes another adapter, we have to make sure that they follow the steps. They are forced to implement the methods, the abstract methods, right? So have an interface. If you must have seen, like most of the places where we were not following solid principles, interface is a good way. Why? Because it tells that, yeah, you have to follow these steps. You have to implement these abstract methods.
Okay.
Keerti, actually, I wanted to give one example which I'm thinking about. Let's say there is an Android application. Let's say I'm using Myntra app or Amazon app, and I wanted to show a list of products like a grid. So, which is two, right? So in an Android application, usually this data will come via an API. And whenever we are showing on the screen usually processes only XML data. I mean, what do you say, the design, the screen, right? So there, the use case is to convert the JSON data, which is the list of books or list of products, list of t-shirts, etc., that into a visible format which is in XML. So this can be a good use case for this particular design pattern. And previously somebody asked about I think, okay, what I wanted to say is, for example, there is a list adapter and also there is a grid adapter. So the way we show the data is different. For example, in the list adapter, in the Myntra app only, let's say, we are showing it as a list of items only one at a time. And in the grid, we show two in one row, right? So there is a difference in the way we view it, like whether it is a list adapter or a grid adapter. And for these, there are multiple other methods like getting the count of the items, not just converting, but also there are other functionalities that we have to take care of, getting the items, etc. So all these particular thing, we put it in one particular interface like list adapter or grid adapter. And from there, we are going to implement like our own adapter. So we are going to implement the given or the provided adapter by the Android SDK, and then we are going to implement our own adapter. So in that case also, there is a necessity of a interface which we can implement. Yeah, so I thought
this is actually a very common use case also, right? Like
yes.
A lot of times from our, like even in our API, like if we, whatever data we receive, suppose we are receiving it in JSON, but we want to show it in HTML, right? Like so, yes. So adapter is a very common use case also. Any other questions, guys? Because
Yeah, so one confusion.
One question.
Yeah, so one confusion I still have is the client should have access to adapter only, or should it should have access to adaptee also, or can it go both ways?
see, client right now can have access only to the adapter. Like we don't have to care about the third party, like the tool. But it is okay if the client also has access to the tool, right? Like that is not the main problem that we are trying to solve over here. Like right now, we have access to, the client has access to the adapter, or like the analytics tool was the interface. And then while creating the object, it said, okay, this is the adapter you have to use. And it did not know that, okay, what tool we are using internally. So that is how this is working right now.
Okay, like discussed previously, now. So discussed previously one case in which adapter sends the JSON converted JSON data back to the tool. So in that case, can we access tool to?
So we did not say that. Like someone asked, can we do like this? And we said that that would not be a good way, because then our client will have to first do the conversion like through the adapter and then call the third party tool. So we said that would not be a good way to do it. Let your adapter only do it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Someone else was asking, last question, then we'll continue.
Hi, Keerti. So I have a question where, like, why did you make a composition relationship between concrete adapter and adaptive? it could have been aggregator relationship also, right?
When did I name it composition?
So you are creating the adaptive object inside the concrete adapter.
I am not.
Becomes,
Like I am creating the adapter outside. I am
right.
creating it outside, but it has a relationship. So this is aggregation actually.
No, but the object which you are creating, JSON Analytics tool object, right? That you are creating inside your concrete adapter, which is XML to JSON adapter.
JSON Analytics tool that I'm creating. So if you look at this, where am I creating this?
Yeah. Right now it's like this. We can change
No,
it.
but can you go to Java implementation once?
Java implementation. Give me 1 second. So this is my analytics tool. So I'm creating inside. Yes. So I'm creating as composition. As I said, like it can be aggregation or composition. It is fine.
Okay, so suppose if I take this as an aggregation, in that case,
My
the
client will
has
have
pass.
to, like someone will have to create it outside and we would have to deal with it inside. But then it is easier like this, right? That we create the tool and then we only use it and we can destroy it inside only. We can do like that, probably. Yes. It makes
But
sense.
if you work with a framework like Spring, right? That way we will have a singleton object of, and okay, this is a third-party API. So in that case, they will not allow us to create object like this. They will have a way to create singleton object.
Then we can just access the analyzed data. Then we don't even need the object, right? Like we can just get the instance and call the analyzed data.
Yeah. Okay.
So that is not the main problem that we have to focus. The focus is that we should be able to call analyzed data. As I said, like instead of having the tool inside, like in this is object adapter, right? In class adapter, we were doing multiple inheritance and we were calling analyzed data. The point is that I should be able to call analyzed data of the tool. How you want to access the tool is like you can either have in has you can have aggregation composition. That is not the point that is important.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, I'll pick up more questions later, but I think more or less all of you have understood the concept. Let's move on to the next design pattern. Yes? Okay, no? Everyone okay with this?
Keerti, can you show the UML diagram for the class
Yes,
adapter?
yes. I was about to do that. So, yep. Cool. Let me just share my screen. Also, guys, what kind of design pattern is it? Are we changing any behavior? Are we changing any behavior inside this? No behavior we are changing, right? We are just structuring our classes in a particular way. No behavior is changed, no creation is happening. So structural. This is, I hope, easy to understand, right? Structural, why structural? Yep. Let's quickly, so more or less, I think you already saw the UML, but let's see like properly. So there is one client and there is one adaptee. Adaptee has a specific request that we want to be able to fulfill, right? But we cannot access this. So what we are adding is, we are adding one target interface in between. And we are going to say that all the concrete adapters, what they are going to do is they're going to have one request. So this is basically the interface that we created, the tool, right? Then we are going to have adapter or the concrete adapter that we had, right? And it is going to have this request. It is going to be forced to have the request, right? And if from this request, actually what we would be doing is inside this request, if we see, so you can see it like this, we would be doing something like adaptee. So actually, let me write that properly. So if we have adapter, so if I have to write for, say, object one, the object adapter design pattern, I would have adaptee like this. So that would be of the type adaptee. And in this, they would be request like this. And how would my request look like? So this is not the UML wala arrow. This is essentially, I'm just showing how it would look. Okay, so something like this. So my request would look something like this, adaptee dot specific request. So this is basically what is specific request. It is the JSON one that I was doing now. So here I am analyzing the JSON data. This is analyze data and this is JSON. I'm passing JSON. What was this? This was the analyzed data and inside this. So basically inside this, what is this adaptee? The adaptee is my tool. This is my tool, the JSON analytics tool. And what is this adapter? This adapter is XML to JSON adapter. I'm just showing you, okay? So now this client is going to use this interface and then adapter has adaptee, right? So it is going to be aggregation like this. Make sense? Yes? No? No? Yes? Can I get yes? People have slept. People have slept. Awake? Not awake? Awesome. Congratulations. You have successfully understood another structural design pattern. The next one is easier, but very interesting. Interesting in a very good way. It is an interesting problem to solve. So I'm going to give you a problem that I want all of you to think that how you would solve. You do not know about any design patterns. It is a good problem to solve, okay? Yes, this was the first structural pattern that we saw, Umair. Okay, cool. Everyone with me? New problem we are trying to solve. Can I get yes? Can I get thumbs up? People awake? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so this is the problem that you have to solve. The problem is that I have many food items, okay? One food item that I have is pizza. Another food item that I have is burger. Okay, now I am taking orders. I have a restaurant. Now in my restaurant, someone orders pizza, but says that maybe I want, say, extra cheese. Or I want extra sauce. Or any other extra toppings. Right? Now someone could order a burger and say, I want just extra cheese, or just extra sauce, or just extra toppings, or both of them, or one of them, or three of them. Same for pizza. I could have one of them, two of them, three of them, just one of them. Now just imagine if I have, say, 5 such extra toppings possible, correct? So I can have, say, cheese, sauce, toppings, maybe extra spinach, extra olives, or whatever, right? So now how are you going to do? There are different food items and different toppings that you can have. How are you going to solve this problem? Think about it. Think about it. How would you write the code? You have no idea about design patterns, what they are. Okay. Sahitya is saying adding extra functionality on go. But how are you going to add extra functionality on the go? Let me give you one more example, by the way. So I have, say, text. Now I can make my text as bold, italic. I can make it colored, highlighted. See, why I am giving this example is that someone said builder design pattern. See, builder pattern is for creation. I'm not creating anything. I already have a pizza. But now what I'm doing is I am adding extra cheese or extra sauce or extra toppings, or one of them. See, I can see people saying builder, saying that create. I'm not creating. I have these things. I have pizza. I have this. Now how do I structure it? Either do you say that I have, say, pizza with cheese, then pizza with sauce, pizza with toppings, pizza with cheese and sauce, pizza with toppings and sauce, pizza with just sauce, pizza with just toppings. Just imagine the number of classes. Doesn't make sense, right? Yep. I am not talking about creation. So how are we going to solve this problem? Also, one more thing that I want you to notice over here is that pizza with extra cheese is still a pizza. Listen to me very, very carefully. This is a very important point and it will help you understand the problem better. Pizza with extra cheese is still a pizza. Pizza with extra sauce is still a pizza, right? I am saying that if pizza with cheese is still a pizza with some additional, say, things on it, right? With cheese on it. So I should be able to add sauce to it. So now what I have is pizza with cheese with sauce. With sauce. This is still a pizza. So I should still be able to add what? I should still be able to add toppings because I'm still dealing with pizza. Similarly, a burger. Similarly, say I have a burger. Burger with cheese is still a burger. Burger with sauce is still a burger. Burger with toppings is still a burger. Make sense? So Meenakshi is saying these are configurations. If we are creating, then it will clearly be builder. Yes, you can think of it like that. But only difference is we are working with the existing pizza. You can think of it like that, but also more things will come up now. See, but has everyone understood the problem that we are trying to solve? That there is pizza, there is burger, we want different configurations, we want basically different toppings, and we want to be able to choose how many toppings also. And like pizza with cheese, we want to deal with like one pizza, we should be able to add sauce, we should be able to add toppings. Like I should be able to add topping first, or maybe cheese first, or maybe sauce first. See, for those who are comparing with builder, if you also notice in builder, we had this thing ki while creating these other steps, like first create the floor, then create the roof, then create the windows, then create this. I am not saying anything like that over here. I am not saying anything like that over here. Firstly, I'm not talking about creation. Secondly, I'm not saying that these are the steps to be followed. I'm saying on the pizza, like someone said, add sauce. I gave the pizza. Then said, no, I want extra. I don't like it. Add cheese. You end up sprinkling cheese over it, right? So yeah, on the fly addition is the good point that Love has said, right? Make sense? I'm saying on the fly, I should be able to add like pizza with cheese or pizza with sauce or whatever. Make sense, no? What I'm trying to say? Okay. So everyone has understood the problem. Can I try talking about the solution? Like what is one possible solution? Okay. So I guess everyone has already thought of this much, that there is one food item, there is pizza, there is burger. Everyone has thought of this. I know that. Right? Pizza, burger. Everyone has thought of this. Right? There will be some common characteristics, some operations that food item will have. We'll have pizza and burger have that operation. Yes, everyone, this much is clear, right? Now, the thing is, view it like this. So there is pizza. Then I add cheese. So this is pizza with cheese. Then I add what? I add sauce. Then I add what? I add toppings. So what am I doing now? Is I am wrapping. I am wrapping. So this, if you notice just this is what? This is still a pizza. But this is a pizza with cheese. If you notice this is still a pizza. But this is what? This is pizza with cheese, now with sauce. Now, if you notice this is what? Pizza with cheese, with sauce, with toppings. Now, Superman is saying that multi-level inheritance. But how will you do multi-level inheritance? Because it might also be there that pizza with sauce, with cheese, with, say, instead of toppings, say something else. Someone said mango. I'm going to add mango. How are you going to do this? How are you going to do multi-level inheritance? Basically, I am saying I want to be able to create wrappers, but after wrapping, the object that I want should still be a pizza. Make sense? Like pizza with sauce, still a pizza. Pizza with cheese, still a pizza. Pizza with mango is still a pizza. Make sense, everyone? Guys, yes, no? Has everyone understood the problem? let me show you again. So if there's a burger, Now I am creating a wrapper, but what am I adding? I can choose. Suppose, for example, I want extra, say, cucumber in my burger. This is still a burger with extra cucumber. Now suppose I add, say, tomatoes. This is still a burger with extra cucumber, extra tomatoes. Now I can choose that I want to add first tomatoes or first cucumber. So I cannot do multi-level inheritance. Yep. Make sense? Atul is saying car with extra accessories. Yes, still a car. So you can do something like this. Okay, car. Now maybe new paint, or maybe say you want to customize and add some lighting. Still it is a car. Yep. Make sense, no? So now everyone has understood that we want a wrapper around it. Yes. But it should also be the type itself. So pizza with cheese is still a pizza, right? So now everyone notice very, very careful. This is a very different kind of example that we are seeing. So everyone, please full attention over here. So what now I'm going to do is I am going to inherit once more. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call a decorator. Just try to focus and understand what I'm trying to do. And now what I'm trying to do is that this can be, say, cheese decorator, or it can be, say, top sauce decorator. And see, so now I am saying that decorator is a food item, right? Because I've inherited from that. Everyone has understood that this arrow, decorator, is a food item. This is a implementing. Yes, day one class. Decorator is a food item. But I also want that after decorating, after adding cheese, right? I should have the food item. So I am also going to do has a. So I am adding two relationships over here. One is a, one is has. Now this is one like first of the kind things that we are seeing, right? I will show you the code, but do you understand a bit that, okay, food item is there is pizza, there is burger, now there is decorator, but we want that pizza with cheese is still a pizza, so we want is a, but we also want has a relationship. Okay, let me show you the code. Everyone full focus, because this is sort of interesting. So everyone full focus over here. I am sharing the code. So decorator, everyone can see? Yes, you all can see, right? Cool. Okay. Now we will understand why we are doing both is a and has a. We will understand it properly, okay? For those who are confused, relax, just have patience. So this is the component, food item. We have two abstract methods, get price and get description. Let's look at the Java code also. This is the interface, get description, get price. So this get price, get description will to, like every food item will have to have. So pizza will have to have, burger will have to have. The concrete components will have get description, get price. Everyone understands this much? Can I get why? Can I get yes? Everyone understands that every food item, pizza and burger, will have get description and get price. Now, another interesting thing is that we also inherited one more thing from food item. What was that one more thing? The decorator, right? So now our decorator will also, so basically all the decorators will have to have get description and get price. Why am I doing this? Because see, if it is pizza, pizza has a particular price and a description. Say pizza ka price was 100. Now when I add cheese, the price is still not 100. I want to add the price by say 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees, correct? So if you see my concrete decorators, when I do get price, what I do is whatever was the price add cheese ka price to it. Make sense? Like, just notice these two things over here. In my concrete decorator, whatever was the description, just write with extra cheese. And in the price, say extra. Now note over here, it doesn't matter in what order you will call it. You can first call sauce or call cheese. If I call sauce first, it is going to say with extra sauce and then say with extra cheese. If you call cheese first and then sauce, it is going to say with extra cheese and then with extra sauce. Price you will in the end add only, no. You add 10 first or 15 first, doesn't matter. 15 plus 10, 10 plus 15, same thing. Make sense? Yep. We will look at the C++ code also, guys. Relax. Just the syntax is different, guys. I know you guys are smart now. Come on. There is one decorator interface. What is this decorator interface doing? So this has the food item. Now, notice over here. When we extended from food item, when we implemented decorator from food item, what did we do? We forced our concrete decorators to have this get description and get price. We forced them. Why? Because now decorator is coming from food item. So decorator should also have get description and get price. Yes? Yep. And when we do has, that means that all of this will still have that pizza, the food item. Let's look at the CPP code also. Don't worry, we'll look at more code, we'll understand. This is the component. These are the abstract methods. So all my food items, the pizza, the burger, the decorator, all of them will be forced to have get description, get price. So this is the pizza. It has get description, get price. Simple stuff. There is burger, get description, get price. There is decorator. In decorator has a food item. Why have I made it protected? Because I want all the concrete decorators to access the food item. All of them have the food item. Say food item ka get description. That is why they're able to do it, right? If I made this private, will I get an error? Will I get an error? Yes. Because they can't access. I made them protected. Nicely can access. Error gone. Yep. Protected. Why? Because now all the concrete decorators can access the food item. Food item, get description with extra cheese, with extra price. Yep. Let's look at the code. So if you see over here, pizza and burger I had. Now you look at this. All I have to do say is, in the same pizza order that I had, just add 10 rupees. Now from this also, what output am I getting? What type is it? It is still a food item. So I am getting same food item in return and I am passing the same food item. Notice this. So basically, in the constructor also, I am expecting food item. But in the end, this is also a food item. Why is it a food item? It is a decorator. Decorator is a food item. Yes? So extra sauce decorator is a decorator. Decorator is a pizza. Yep. So now, whatever food item I am passing, I am also returning it. So basically, what am I trying to do? This is still a pizza. So I can again pass it and say that I want extra sauce. Still what I am getting is pizza. Again, after this, what I could have done is that in the same order, I want the same order. And the same thing I could have said that extra toppings. I am passing the same thing now, pizza. Same thing I am passing, I will just give the price. Okay. See, over here, the same burger order that I am passing, I am also returning it. The same burger order that I am passing, I am also returning it. This is to show you. Okay. Now, I will show you the code also. One more thing, one small thing that I guess a lot of you might be thinking, why have I given the pricing over here? I could have had the pricing over here itself, right? That my decorator will decide that this is the pricing for the extra toppings, for the extra cheese. You could do it like that. Why have I done like this is because maybe for different food items, you want different pricing. Like for a burger, there is less cheese required. For a pizza, there is more cheese required. So depending on that, maybe I can configure it outside. I can pass it, or maybe I can have it inside based on the food item that is being passed to me. Like you can do it accordingly, right? That is not the main point over here. Let's try to run this also. Okay. Let's try to run the Java code first. Okay, so this is my Java code. So if you see over here, what did I pass? I passed that there's a pizza. Then pizza ka price was how much? Pizza was 200. Burger was 100. So pizza was 200. And I said, ki extra cheese 10, right? So extra cheese and then this. So 210 and 15. So it should have been 215. So you see the description. Description of pizza order is pizza with extra cheese with extra sauce. If I just change this, if I suppose remove this, if I remove this and I add only cheese, okay? If I do that, see now it is 210. It is only cheese. The sauce is gone now, right? Suppose instead of sauce, I have toppings. If I have toppings and topping is say of 25 rupees. So how much should be the total now? 210 and 25. It should be 235. So if I run it again, it is description of the pizza order is pizza with extra cheese with extra toppings, 235. See, I don't have to do anything. See how nicely I'm able to solve the problem? Yep. Let's try again, like for burger. Burger right now was 100, right? So 100 plus this was 20 plus 15. So that is 135. You can see over here. Suppose I make this 35. So how much will it be? 100 plus 20 will be 120 plus 35, 155. Right? If I run this, 155. I suppose change it to extra sauce. And I make the extra sauce of say 100 rupees. Very costly sauce. Expensive sauce. Let's try to run this. See how easily I'm able to do. 220 rupees. Extra cheese, extra sauce. Yep, makes sense. On the fly, I'm able to say extra cheese, extra toppings, whatever extra you want. What is the main point? Whatever pizza I am sending, I am getting back the same pizza. So again, notice, remember, I started from pizza with cheese, still a pizza. I should still be able to work with it. So pizza with cheese, I was still able to work with it and add toppings. Burger with cheese is still a burger. I still got back the burger. And what did I did? I added sauce to it. Yep. Is the type pizza or decorator? So the type is food item. But what is decorator? Decorator. So extra cheese decorator is a decorator. It is extending from decorator. And where is decorator extending from? It is extending from food item. So everything, all the decorators are food items in the end. Please go to decorator classes. So this is my decorator class. Let us see again. So this guy, extra cheese. So let me show you both the concrete and the interface decorator at the same time. Now I guess you will be able to see better, right? Extra cheese decorator is extending from decorator. This is the concrete decorator. It is a decorator. Decorator is implementing food item. Because it is implementing food item, I have to have get description and get price, right? Why I am forcing them to have get description and get price? How? Because my food item was an interface and there these were the abstract methods. This was the interface. These were the abstract methods. Yes. So my decorator is implementing food item. It has a food item. It has a food item. Yes. So this is the food item that I have. Right. And when I do extra cheese, so food item and price. So I am returning like food item, not description. Yep. Okay. Vasant is saying, won't we have memory leak in C++ as the previously allocated pointer is now made point to a different location? How is the previous allocated? So this is the C++ one. So now when I created pizza order, so this, I'm creating the new one. How you delete? You can delete it like this. You can either use smart pointers or you can take care of the deletion properly. Like you have to obviously make sure that you delete everything, because firstly, this, if you think about this I have added, right? So there's a virtual destructor. So you will be able to delete it. Let me allow you to ask questions. Give me 1 second. Okay, what questions do you guys have? Tell me. You can unmute yourself. Any questions?
Just one problem I can see, like here food item is burger or pizza. So sometimes we can use burger object and decorate, and then it will return. So it will return food item, so it can assign to pizza as well.
I not understand. So you are passing a pizza and we are returning the same thing, right?
So here we can assign it to burger order as well. So that is a problem. Means
So then you will be overriding your burger order. I can call this ABC also. Food item, ABC. Same thing. So if you see like this, you can see that I am creating what? I am basically, okay, move like this. So basically what am I doing? I'm creating extra cheese. Okay, I'm in Java, sorry. So extra cheese decorator. What I'm creating is that pizza order and I'm adding cheese. So this decorator has pizza now. So when I create extra cheese decorator, whatever food item I am passing, that is the item now inside it, right? I can call it anything, but whatever I've passed, I'm going to add cheese to that only. No, if I pass pizza, then I'm going to add cheese to the pizza. If I pass burger, I'm going to add cheese to the burger.
Kirti, how many objects are going to get created in this case? Like, as in when we are adding extra cheese, extra topping onto pizza. So first I have created a pizza, right? My base class, base object. Then I am adding extra cheese. So it again returns me a new object. Then I'm adding extra topping. Then it will give me, so there will be 3 objects in this.
Aren't
And
you modifying the same object?
no, but as she had, no, instead of pizza order, she said ABC. So
yeah, so if you do ABC, then it is creating new. But right now it is creating, it is just modifying the same one, isn't it? And ideally, you would like to modify the same one because the concept is like that only.
No, it's like you are creating the new object, but the previous one you are passing and setting it inside the newer object. If you see new extra cheese, and you are passing the older pizza order, and if you go inside the constructor, can you go inside this constructor, extra cheese decorator? So in this you will set it as the previous wala object. So yeah, every time the new object is getting created.
Oh, okay.
But see, these are wrappers. So pizza with cheese is like a new object, but it is a wrapper.
And that's why you are able to do that get price. So what happens is if you do food item dot get price, whatever this cheese item would have set itself with, it will calculate that and it will add its own extra cheese one of price.
But
So
yes,
it's like
you are right. This
previous
is
one will call previous one will call previous one, like that.
But yeah, this is one of the disadvantages that we do end up creating a lot of objects, and it is complex, but it is really helpful, right? Like if you look at this case, if you wanted extra cheese topping sauce, how you would have done it otherwise?
but then wouldn't we keep those as prototype, or not prototype, singleton, like extra cheese will be extra cheese, constant.
Singleton. How singleton?
No,
Singleton.
not singleton. I mean to say, when I'm saying extra cheese decorator, I might not require to repeat itself again and again, create a new object. I might use an existing object.
You need to know. See, extra cheese I am adding on what? I'm adding on simple pizza, or am I adding on pizza with sauce, or am I adding on pizza with sauce with toppings? On what am I adding extra cheese?
Kirti, wouldn't the name of this decorator, shouldn't it be cheese decorated pizza? Because it's still a pizza.
That would have
So
been.
that would, because decorator, it seems like that it's just something that returns something. We are actually using that again. It's just a cheese decorated pizza now.
Okay, let me rename these for you. Okay, so
The problem is
decorated
you are
pizza.
using it for this burger also right now.
Right. Decorated food item. Let me
Cheese
say
decorated food.
item. Okay. And okay, why did it not? Okay, 1 second. Rename. Decorated food item. Nice. Okay, you understood the point, no? Extra cheese decorated food item and extra sauce decorated food item. Decorated food item. Yes.
But then base pizza, which we had, wouldn't that be a garbage in the system? And when it will be collected, like that object will remain in the system. Ultimately, I'm going to use my decorated pizza wherever I'm going to use it further, right? What will happen to the existing, to create, I had first created a base pizza, then if I have two toppings on top, only two decorators, so one pizza plus one decorator, that object will also exist, and then there will be a third object which will have pizza plus two decorators, and finally I will be using pizza plus two decorator, and the previous ones, pizza and pizza plus one decorator, are just lying without being used in the system.
No, it's
Then I need
getting
to
used now. If you see the functions such as get price and get description, it is using that earlier one wala object, and that's why you are able to get the price of all gets added up.
Okay.
So you are using it, right? Because to be able to get the 235 price, you're doing 200 plus 10 plus 15.
So if you see food item dot get price, first it will call the previous before extra sauce would have been called, no? Agar suppose that one will call first food item dot get. From here that it will come to this function and then it will add its own price, extra sauce price. So every object will get used.
Okay. Yeah.
So if it was pizza with cheese with sauce, first to calculate the price of pizza with cheese with sauce, you will first calculate with just pizza, then pizza plus cheese, then you will add it to with sauce, right? That is how you're calculating the description and the price.
Okay. So I think that would be a disadvantage of using this pattern, having multiple objects getting created, right?
Keerti, I have one question. Since decorator is implementing a food item, I mean, decorator is a food item, right? But for example, there is toppings decorator. This I do not want to use with burger. This I wanted to use only with pizza. So in that case, if there is a food item for which certain decorators cannot be used, but still we are creating a decorator as a common one. So how can we solve that particular problem?
Then this would not be like, if you want to force, you should not be able to access like this, then this is not the correct design pattern, right, for that. Because currently what we are trying to solve is that these decorators are possible for these food items.
Yeah, like if it is a totally different food item, it should be a different interface altogether.
Yeah.
So meaning usually like for in this example only, generally there are no toppings for a burger, right? So we should not be having extra toppings decorator in this particular example probably. That should be a separate interface, are you saying that?
Maybe you can have like different decorators, like pizza decorator and burger decorator. Then from there you can have, say, pizza decorator will have these all decorators and burger decorator will have these all decorators. Different ways of doing it, but I don't think you should be force fitting. We can probably discuss how we would design that, but don't force fit.
I have another example, something similar. I just wanted to know your take on that. So let's say it is a food parcel, just what we do packing, right? I'm sitting in a restaurant and having food, and then bhaiya zara pack karwa dena wala. So in that case, the parcel will be, it satisfies the HACCP because a parcel does not have an independent existence use without food. But the easy part, a parcel cannot be a food. So in an interview situation, what would be your take on this kind of example?
So
Food parcel.
parcel has a food makes sense, no? Like,
yeah.
See, again, the usual guideline. So I'm just saying that whenever you get confused, that both has a and is a, both of them are sort of making sense over here and you're getting confused, it is safer to go with has a. Like is a can lead to, say, a lot of problems, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance. Then you will end up having all the data members, right? Versus what happens in Azure is that you sort of have more flexibility that, okay, I want to access these all functions. This is how I want to access. So when you're very confused.
My point was that, like, say, food parcel is the decorator and food is the object, and I want to get it packed. So it satisfies because it's a decorator, we need both easy and has a. So it satisfies the has property. But when it comes to easy, then it is it is not, parcel is not food. So how do you see this example in this context?
Here I have a question for you. So in this one, in the decorator design pattern, the first parameter that we discussed is the input that you are giving, the output is the same, but with just extra something on it. Putting a pizza or putting a burger inside a parcel, is it a pizza or is it a burger anymore? It can be like a parcel or pizza wrapped in a burger, wrapped in a wrapper or parcel, something like that. It's no more just a pizza, isn't it? Like the essence of the pizza is lost. So you have added some extra item on top of it or something that is not part of the pizza.
Yeah, that's my point. But such situation, what will be a good design pattern? Because prima facie, this example looks like a decorator, but when it returns, it's not
It
a
doesn't
food.
look like a decorator to me. You're not adding, like, it is still, as he said, it is not a pizza when you add it with one more burger. It is a parcel. It is not a pizza anymore.
I will, like, you can consider it decorator only when, like, what you are adding is actually part of what you are giving inside it. If what you are adding is not part of what you are giving in, then it's not a decorator.
Yep.
Also, the parcel one example, we need to understand what is actually the requirement. If you put a food item inside a parcel, then what is your intention? Like, then we can decide on what design pattern what we want to use.
Okay. Guys, I'll quickly show you the UML also once more to make it clearer. Give me 1 second.
You mentioned we are creating a lot of objects in these, right? But I don't think we create so many objects. It's just one object to create in the client, but you have different reference variables which is being mapped to the same object. At the end, it's just one object still.
No, it's not one object.
Because you're just using a super of it and you have only in the decorator the actual reference.
If you saw the code, I was doing new extra cheese decorated pizza or new this, right? Like a very simple way to see that.
That is on the client side, meaning on the client, you're adding the topping as a new object. But I'm saying your actual pizza or burger is still only one object with multiple references, right?
But you're adding new objects, no? Like if you're adding on client, you have new objects, right?
No, in the client, you're creating a topic as an object, but you're passing pizza or burger, right? Internally, in all the decorators, you're just assigning the same object to different reference variables, right?
After, let's say, initially you have the pizza object, right? Initially you have the pizza object, you passed a topping in it. After you have passed topping in it, the output that you are getting is not the same object anymore. It's a new object.
We're not creating new anywhere. I mean, if you really
we are.
Yeah, we are creating new.
We are creating new. It is pizza with cheese. It's a new one. Just look at the previous object. So everything is available on GitHub, guys. Just check it out once, like open parallelly and keep looking at the code if you get confused anywhere. It is basically pizza with cheese now. It's a new object. Pizza with cheese with sauce is a new object. Pizza with cheese with sauce with toppings is a new object.
Actually, pizza with the virtual table can really help understand this better, because there, even whatever the latest object that you have, it is pointing to the previous object and the previous object back to the pizza. So that way, when if you look at virtual table, it's crystal clear that it is different pointers there which are being, connected through the compost.
Let me quickly show you the UML and then let me show you the code again once, right? So here component was what? Food item. Then we have say concrete components. So concrete component 1 was say pizza, right? Then there was say another concrete component, say that was burger. So concrete component 1, concrete component 2, right? After this, say I have what? I have decorator, right? Now this decorator will also have concrete decorators, right? So say this one decorator is basically decorated pizza, and concrete decorator is basically cheese decorated pizza, concrete decorator 1. Concrete decorator 2 is basically sauce decorated pizza, right? And from here, like we also have the component inside the decorator. So it is basically aggregation. So the UML looks something like this. And here, like in the decorator, you can add component. Say you can add it as protected. So component over here, right? And you will be able to form the operation. So you can do the added behavior like in the concrete decorator 1, concrete decorator 2. Let me quickly show you the code also. Guys, I'll show you the code and then we will take more questions at 11 because I want to set the example like for the next design pattern. We had to do 8 design patterns this week. So tomorrow will be a bit longer class. We will have to cover 2.5 to 3 design patterns. So that is why I want to set the context today. Okay. So give me some time. Okay. Over here, we have pizza order and burger order, right? So here you can see I'm creating new, even though I am passing pizza order. If you actually look at this here, I am calling this superka item, right? So food item I am passing, but superka item. So even if you see in the CPP code, if you're a CPP person, here when I did extra cheese decorator, if I go inside this, here you can see what am I doing? I am calling this decorator item, right? And in this decorator item, what am I doing? I am calling food item, right? I have this food item. So I'm again creating a new one. Okay. I am stopping for now.
Ones.
Sorry?
You're just creating ones, but your pointers are different in different layers. At least from a perspective of, let's say, the pizza object or a burger object. I might be wrong, but that's how I read it from the code. It's there on the Java side.
You are creating new when you are adding cheese. Again, when you are adding sauce, you're creating new. Again, when you are adding toppings, you're creating new.
Yeah, but internally you just do a constructor chaining to refer to a different pointers of the same object. So are you really saying that in this entire life cycle of this pizza decoration, are there 3 pizza objects being created? I mean, I still believe that it's still 1.
3 are being created. Let me show you again. Can we discuss this again at 11? Can I quickly we will discuss this again at 11. Yep, cool. Okay. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Everyone, can I get full attention for 15 minutes, please? Very important to set the context for this one. Can I get full attention? Yes, please. Everyone stay. Yep. It is not like I'm going to cover from the starting tomorrow, so don't leave. Okay, cool. So we are working on Uber. Uber is our system now. Okay. We have 2 systems. We have Uber Eats and we have Uber Rides. Correct? And both of them require navigation, right? Both of them require navigation. Uber Eats also requires navigation. Uber Rides also requires navigation. Yes? Both requires navigation. So both of them are using navigation system. But suppose for each of them, I want something like that Uber Eats, when the user comes, maybe should be able to choose that I want to use, say, Apple Maps or Google Maps. Similarly, say when my Uber rides, some customer is opening, should be able to choose Apple Maps or Google Maps. So this Uber is using navigation system. It is using navigation system, but it can be implemented in different ways in using Apple Map or Google Maps. You understand? The implementation can vary. So we are using it, but the implementation can vary. Let me give you another example. Suppose there is a vehicle. Okay, there is a vehicle. Now vehicle can be, say, a bus or a bike. Okay. Now bus or a bike, what is going to happen is that you're going to do multiple things. Say you're going to produce a bus and you're going to say assemble a bus. There are multiple things that you're doing, right? Similarly, in a bike, say you're producing a bus and say you're assembling a bus. You are doing all of this. But is it a good way to structure the classes?
The
If I
bus
structure
or the bike? In
Oh,
bike
sorry,
class.
bike. So here, thank you. So here we are producing the bike or assembling the bike. Is this a good way to structure? Now think of it like this. Suppose I have to make some change inside bus. Suppose I am changing my name. So now produce bus, assemble bus, if I inherit from that, they will also get affected. Both of them will get affected. Even if I am not changing anything in the assembly, I will get affected. Like for example, maybe I am changing something in how Uber Eats work. If I had inherited like this, like Uber Eats, Apple Maps, then Uber Eats, Google Maps. If I had structured like this, like maybe inherited and structured like this, every time I make some change over here, I have to check for both Eats and for both Apple Maps and Google Maps. Every time I make some change, I have to test my production and my assembly. Right? Is it a good way to design? I am talking about structuring classes now. Notice over here also in Decorator, I was talking about what structuring classes, that I have different classes. I have burger, I have cheese, I have tomato, I have all of that. How do I structure the classes? Right? Adapter, what did we talk about? We had two incompatible things. How do I structure them together? Over here, I have a vehicle. I have bus and bike. Now bus can be like I am producing, I am assembling. How do I structure them? Okay, someone is asking me to repeat it, so I'm going to do that. Again, what is the example I'm saying? I have Uber. Okay. Now in my Uber, I have two systems. I have Uber Rides. I have Uber Eats. These systems, both this entire thing uses navigation system. Right? Now, on both Uber Rides and Uber Eats, say the navigation system is Google Maps and Apple Maps. How they are implemented, this is the implementation of the navigation system, right? That is different. And like every time I make a change in the Uber Rides, I should not have to make change in the navigation system. It should not be like, that these are, say, inherited, the Google Maps and Apple Maps. I should keep the implementation of the navigation system separately. Plus, say I have tomorrow something else, say Uber Clothes. Not clothes. Clothes will not require navigation. What else will require navigation, guys? Give me a good example. Uber Eats, Uber Rides. What else can I open where I will need a good
Uber
navigation?
hotels.
Uber what?
Hotels.
Hotels. Okay, hotels, parcels, as you can say, right? So suppose Uber opened its own Amazon, right? Then we will need Google Maps, Apple Maps. All of these should be able to use the navigation system. But how, and they should be able to use multiple navigation systems. But how it is being implemented, like these guys should not have to worry. And we should be able to add more navigation systems also. Right? As extendable as possible. So what am I trying to do over here? So basically there are two parts of my system. One part of the system, if you see, is the implementation. Implementation of the navigation system. Right? This is different. Right? The other part, this is the core. This Uber, this is the core. Right? It is the one that is going to use the navigation system. Right? It is the core of the design pattern. So I am probably going to call it, say, abstraction. It is the core that is going to use, or it is going to have the reference of the navigation system of the implementation. So this guy that I said, vehicle, bus, bike. So what is a better way of structuring it? If you think about it, I'm sure all of you can actually start thinking about it yourself. So if I have a vehicle, just pause and think for like a second, like how would you, so if I have this, what is a better way of structuring it? I'm going to pause for 1 minute. Think about it yourself. Think about it yourself. Don't speak anything, let others also think. So what was the problem that I was trying to solve? That there is a vehicle, there is basically a bus and a bike. Okay. Now in my bus, I have to produce it. So produce bus, assemble bus. Similarly, bike, I have to say produce bike or assemble bike. Correct? Now, what is a better way of doing it? That, you know, I should be able to add more. I should be able to add more like this. Like these should not be tightly coupled. They should be loose coupling. How would I do that? You can do something like this. Just think about this. That vehicle now can be bus, can be bike. Now there is, say, something called workshop. Now workshop can be of the type, say, production, or of the, say, type assembly. And what will happen is that this vehicle is going to use the workshop. And now workshop can be of the production or assembly, right? So now vehicle can be bus or bike, is using the workshop for production and assembly. So what I'm trying to do is I am trying to separate out the implementation. Yes, I am trying to separate out the implementation. Make sense a bit? Can I quickly show you the code also? Can I quickly show you the code? It will be clearer, I guess. So if you look at this, the bridge one, everyone just concentrate for 5 minutes. Yeah, concentrate for 5 minutes. It is very easy. Yep. So this is the navigation implementation. So this is the implementation layer that, okay, now it will have multiple things, navigate to, source, destination. I've just written one simple abstract method over here that navigate to, right? Obviously it will be more complex, but navigation is one there, right? Now who is going to implement this implementation? They can be, so who needs to use Uber Ride or Uber Eats? So this is my navigation system. So who is using this navigation system? Uber Ride or Uber Eats. So these are the abstraction ones. So there were two layers. Implementation, this is where I am implementing the navigation. And these are Uber Ride and Uber Eats, which is basically a navigation system. You remember, this is the abstraction, or say the core of the design, the Uber Ride or Uber Eats. Okay, and it has navigation implementation layer. So how you're implementing? So if you see the, so yeah, who is implementing? Google Maps and Apple Maps. So these are the implementation. If I have to show it in a better way, see it like this. So this is the implementation layer, implementation, navigation implementation, Google Maps, Apple Maps. This is the abstraction layer, navigation system, Uber Ride, Uber Eats. Yes. And what is happening in the demo? So when I create the Uber Ride, I just say, okay, this is the driver name. This is the restaurant name. And then I say that, okay, these are the navigation implementations. So for Uber, I can set that this is my navigation implementation. On the fly, I can set that, okay, I want Apple Maps or Google Maps. So I can change that. Okay, I don't want to use Google Maps. I want to use Apple Maps. And it won't, like, I won't have to worry about it. So on the fly, I can decide that I want to use what implementation. So my user can decide that, okay, I want to use Google Maps today, or I want to use Apple Maps today. Yep. This is, by the way, called bridge design pattern. You can think of it like a bridge between abstraction layer and implementation layer. We are separating both of them. Okay. And here you can say Google Maps, Apple Maps is the implementation. Here we are setting the navigation. I'm going to stop for the day. I'm going to repeat it again tomorrow very quickly. And I'm going to give you some time to think about it, think about this design pattern, and whatever questions are there about this design pattern, we will pick up tomorrow. For now, if you have any questions regarding the first two design patterns, not regarding the bridge, because I've not covered it completely, I am going to cover it again tomorrow. But I've told you the UML on a high level so that we can cover the 3 design patterns tomorrow. Whatever questions you have about the first two design patterns, what were the first two? The adapter and the decorator, you can ask now. So done with the class officially, but okay, letting you guys unmute yourself and also start the video. Yep. Any questions? So
Keerti, for the decorator, maybe is it a good idea to have different variable names for when we move from one to, I mean, say we add extra cheese, we name that variable as with extra cheese, pizza with extra cheese, and then use that.
Would be like I had also initially written like pizza order with cheese, pizza with cheese with this, but I wanted to sort of show that, you know, it is still a pizza. Like I know like it would be better to name it like pizza with cheese with sauce. But in order to show that both is and has I am using, I wrote it like this. But yeah, you are right. That would be a better way to.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Guys, also, I want everyone to show up tomorrow. So please get good enough rest and please think about the design patterns and ask questions. Okay, quiz will be up very soon on the on the content section. So please attempt the quizzes. Check out the notes. Watch the recording. Ask doubts, please. Yep.
So in decorator design pattern, Keerti, on the classes that decorator is implementing, right? Can we create them on fly? Because more or less they have, I mean, I'm talking about the classes, not the objects. So let's say I have a config and I have a, so I mean, just a way out that I tried some time earlier in some of my projects. Let's say I have a template, Jinja template, or maybe any other template I want, or even a decorator, right? A function decorator that is implementing the class or that has a function, let's say get price or something like that, for some class that is coming via some configs. So, I mean, I can use that instead of using the entire creation of new classes, right?
I did not understand the question properly.
Okay,
So instead of using the entire thing, so if I go to decorator, so what are you suggesting that instead of creating all of this, what do I do?
So basically, instead of creating the extra cheese decorator class, here we have a standard template that has a get price. Basically, my interface becomes a Jinja file, and then I execute that Jinja file in runtime. Okay, it's hard to explain what I'm saying, but I think I will be able to. No,
Can you try to draw the UML diagram and share on Discord?
the UML would look exactly the same, right? I'm just.
You are saying that you don't want to have classes. If you are changing classes, your UML will
I
change.
will, yeah. Yeah, I'll come back to you with the UML and the thought process.
Yep,
Make it much clearer.
Do share like whenever possible. Yeah.
Hi,
Keerti, I have a
Go on.
Yeah, actually, एक एग्जांपल है like we have one car, right? Basic car है जैसे मारुति सुजुकी Baleno car है, ठीक है? तो उसमें there are some basic features are there, right? Get description, get details, everything is there. Okay. तो फिर डेकोरेशन में आप जैसे ऐड ऑन कर रहे हैं, उसमें कुछ फीचर ऐड ऑन कर रहे हैं, कोई डाल्टा वर्जन है या फिर उसके बाद जीटा वर्जन है, तो लाइक जैसे हम उसको इनहेरिट कर रहे हैं, राइट? इनहेरिट करके अपने उसमें क्लास जो बनी है उसमें हम ऐड ऑन कर रहे हैं, तो उसका प्राइस ऐड ऑन हो रहा है, राइट? तो वहां पे क्या क्या मतलब ये इसमें तो ऐसे लग रहा है, नॉर्मली लग रहा है कि जैसे हम इंटरफेस यूज कर रहे हैं तो एज इट यूज कर रहे हैं, कोई मतलब इंटरफेस की कंसेप्ट आया यहाँ पे डेकोरेशन में, कोई
so it is decorator only. मतलब it is normal like inheritance only. But also two main tricky things is, firstly, you can be adding in any order. You could be first say adding cheese or sauce or toppings, and you also decide the number on the fly. This is one thing. Second thing is, even after adding, like even after say adding new lights to your nano, it is still a nano,
Mhm.
right? So how do you deal with that? So आपने एक तो inheritance कर लिया, but also you should be able to get the description and the price of the nano to be able to add the price, right?
Okay.
तो आपको उसको as an object भी रखना होगा अंदर. So you have to
Okay.
keep it as an object to be able to get the price and the description, right? Because you have to add to the price. And like you see, suppose for example, you had nano with say new lights, okay? It had one particular price. Now when you are adding say new tires, you have to add to the price of the nano with new lights and not just to nano. So you
Okay.
have to get the price of the previous one. So if you're
Okay.
so if you have pizza with cheese with sauce, you need the price and the description of pizza with cheese to be able to add the price of the sauce to it. So आपको has a भी करना है and is a भी करना है. That is the main crux of the decorator design pattern. That we are implementing food item, but we also have food item.
Okay. Okay. Both. मतलब we are implementing both. Has a is a, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, Kirti, my question was that, so basically the reason we are having this reference, this composition is that we are essentially adding to the already existing functionalities of the food item. For example, this food item dot get description, and then we're adding extra cheese. So what if I want to have a sort of a decorator item which has no extensibility, but it just adds a completely different feature. For example, I have a binary tree node and I want to add a parent pointer to this class node. Would this qualify as a, because I am not using the composition here, like the composite object here, which is inside for anything. I would just add another pointer to this. I would not override any of its functions.
Then it is not decorator, no?
So essentially, it's
see from the name. If you saw that diagram, no, I drew that circle and then circle, then circle, then circle. Always try to visualize that when you think of decoration. Decorator means you have something. You have pizza. You're decorating. You are creating a wrapper and adding cheese. Then you're creating a wrapper, adding sauce. Creating a wrapper, adding toppings. So when you are adding more functionality to it, when you are creating wrapper, think of decorator design pattern.
So there must be some use of the composite, some use of that internal.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Keerti, my question is, for me, decorator is looking very similar to builder, because even the return object is also a food item here. In the builder also, it is the return type is builder, and like especially the second pattern in the builder, the chain, a dot something and then dot something. So here we are also creating new object every time. There also we are creating. So is it not very similar?
There was a director who was
We are
saying,
not creating the new object.
Sorry?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I stopped you. Go ahead. Yeah.
See, in Builder, there were a few steps that director was following that you have to follow. There are complex objects. You have to create those objects in a particular order, right? Here, say you already have pizza and burger. Creation is not the main point. The point is that now I have cheese, topping, sauce. How do I structure my classes such that I'm able to create wrapper on top? There we are not creating any wrapper. If you see, we are adding some extra functionality. So if there is pizza, you are adding the extra functionality of cheese. You are adding the extra functionality. You're creating wrappers. In Builder, there is a director who is saying you have to follow these steps. There is no wrapper, nothing over there, right? It is not like you are decorating a house. Those are completely different things when you have to follow steps. You have to first make the floor, make the roof, make the walls, create the windows, paint. Steps are there that your builder has to follow. It's a complex object that you're creating. Here, what you are doing, here you're creating wrapper.
Okay.
You're adding functionality.
Hello, Kirti.
Okay, got it.
Hello.
Yes.
Kirti, for me, like I have a doubt. Let's say this decorator pattern is there, right? I mean, if you can you go to this client class like main of Java code? So I feel like, do you think? I mean, in from my perspective, I feel like this feels very much similar to this chain of responsibility, right? There also we do the similar kind of thing where we pass a similar object by keeping it as a relationship and do the next step, right? In chain of
Look at
responsibility.
chain of responsibility. So chain of responsibility, for every handler, we say who is the next handler, right? Am I saying over here to the cheese that after cheese, what is next I have to add?
Okay.
Here,
Okay.
what
Okay.
you're doing on the fly, you're deciding that, okay, while approving the leave, manager is deciding that who is the next person who is going to approve. Is it my CTO or is it my skip level manager? Here is my cheese decorator deciding that who is my decorator. No, na. So here's a
No.
chain over here. For every handler, there is a next handler. It is a chain, right? For
Okay.
every
Okay.
person, we have the next person that, okay, next who is going to handle the request? Are we going to stop handling the request? Here, that is not the case. Here we have different decorators. We have to, but how do we structure them is the question.
Okay. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, so Kirti, as far as I understood, like say pizza, we are adding the toppings and all different types of. Okay, so it is basically updating the price of the pizza at last after the addition. Okay,
That is
but
price and description both. Yeah.
price and description board, but it's not. But in the sense, it's not doing it inside the object, inside the pizza. It's doing the decorator is doing outside it. Okay.
It is a wrapper outside. It has
It's a wrapper outside. Yeah. Yeah. So let's say this scenario, let's say I'm ordering on Swiggy, and if I remove one topping, okay, I've added two toppings and I've removed one topping. Okay. So in that case, my price should it should be subtracted of that price should be subtracted from my original price. So will this handle that scenario also? Sort of.
That is a good question. So you're saying that you've created orders and now you have added now. And now
Yeah.
you're removing from between.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is not the case over here. Like, so that is not like what we are doing over here. Those are independent toppings or add-ons. Here, what we are doing is we are creating wrappers on top of that. So don't get confused. That is not the scenario over here. That won't.
Kirti, it's like so the example he's taking is he's ordering from a Swiggy. He added two things and removed one thing, suppose. So at the end, there will be some particular number of things, right? Two or three things. So that will think of it is like it will go to the backend and it will say, okay, it has to be decorated with sauce and cheese. Now, after we have received this sauce and cheese, we can just do the same thing, decorate it with sauce and cheese. That's it. Like we don't have to remove or add anything.
So I thought what his point was ki on the fly, suppose he has added one and then I am adding that and then removing, then I'm removing one. But what he's also saying is correct because it won't be like you added and then you are calculating the price at that time only. Mostly what is going to happen is that like your backend code or your code is going to look like this, that the request came to add these toppings and then you're going to add it in once.
Yeah, Kriti, can we use decorator in exception handling, like custom exception handling?
Okay, go on, like custom exception handling as in?
Yeah, like we are writing our own exception and they're like we are modifying the message, error message. And the code.
What is the decorator? What are you wrapping?
That error message we are like exception, like custom exception, our custom exception is extending the exception, And
So is it like,
also it is modifying the message.
is it something like error with this was the
Yes.
problem, with this was the problem, with this was like multiple errors you are seeing?
Yes.
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 You could do like that, yes. But then why would you want to create wrappers? Like, I don't think it is a very good use case. Like, why would you want to create wrappers of exceptions? Right? Like, why would you want to add another exception like on the like suppose there is one object with one exception, you are wrapping it with exception 2, wrapping it with exception 3. It is not like you're adding any functionality. I don't like, I feel it is a force fit, not a good example.
Okay. Okay. So only the extending the exception and modifying the message that will do.
Any other questions? Okay.
Keerti, I had one question actually. It's basically on the destructor side of the thing for this decorator. So once we say delete the last object, of course, I come from Java background, so just I'm asking actually as to how it works in C++. There we don't need to do any memory management. So when we say delete the decorated object, that delete will in turn will call the other allocated object, right? So you consider that like, we have a pizza with cheese and sauce. First pizza with sauce, whatever the object is there, when we go delete on that, it will in turn call the delete on pizza with cheese, and that in turn will call delete on pizza. That means to say pizza will get deleted, and then pizza with cheese, and then pizza with sauce. So that way speaking, calling, even though we allocate memory multiple times, calling the delete just once on that particular object, is this sufficient to take care of deleting the complete chain?
So when we have this, so since you're from Java background,
No.
just
Actually, so once we delete the outermost object, it will go inside the class and try to call the
Correct.
destructor of the class, right? And
So
inside the destructor, you have to do a delete of each individual items as a which are members there. So it will have to delete like that.
so basically read about how super is called in case of inheritance, both in case of CPP and Java, and you'll get the answer. So it is like chaining of destructors. When you call the parent class, basically the lowermost class that's been created will get this destructed first, then the second lower, and then you will finally read the parent class. So we'll
like
keep.
in the order in which you created, in the opposite order, it will be destructed.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. Sure. Thanks. Sir.
I have a question in the adapter pattern. So I do not like understand or not like understand why do we use interface there? Can you give a different example? Because here in the example that you gave, it had one method, and the tool also we had it in the concrete implementation only. So can you give some other example where it makes more sense to have that interface and like?
Can you see this, the one that I'm writing right now?
Yes.
So what if I had this? So now I am adding this new class. Okay. And if I do not have this interface, okay, if I did not have this, so suppose like instead of having this analytics tool, I've just created a new adapter now, right? Now I could have like done something else probably, right? But now, like suppose right now there's only analyzed data. Suppose there are more, not just analyzed data, there is also print data. There is also say, show data in a graph or something like that. Basically in other form also. I'm just giving an example. Obviously there'll be better functions than print and show. I'm just giving the examples. So now in this adapter, I might not write print or might not write show data, right? So now what I'm doing is by creating the interface, I am making sure that whatever things I write in this interface, all the concrete adapters will have to have. So if I create this as abstract method, say print data. Right now I'm saying print data, say like analyze data in some other way or something like that. then you can see that the error is coming, right? That because I have not, if you see the error response, okay, right now it is because this. If you see like this, it will come, like if I run it, you will see that I have not actually written the code for print data. I have not implemented this method, right? So the error will come. So always it is better to use interfaces. Why? Because they give you a contract. They say you force all the concrete classes to have a particular method. Like you have to have these methods. You have to have these functions. You're forcing to have those functions.
Like a good example for this would be, imagine developing Zerodha, right? So you have WebSockets that are talking to, or if not, take a WebSocket example, you have things that are talking to BSC and NSC today. So you just want to launch in India and you're creating your adapter class that is basically talking to BSC and NSC. And then you are now a full-fledged grown company and you think that since BSC and NSC you are already talking, you want to help your users to be able to trade in US market, Russia market as well, right? Europe markets as well. So now there's an entirely new adapter that you want, entirely new stock exchange that you want to connect to, but the functions that you have for that stock exchange will be exactly same, right? You'll have sell, buy, you'll have change in what we call that price of some stock and change in options and all that stuff. Those functions will be exactly same. The data that you'll be inputting from them would be same, but the API format that or the format of data that they give or take would be different from what you have at BSc and NSE, right? So you can just have an adapter which will help you to write you can just have an adapter which will help you to write new or to collaborate with new exchanges, basically. So that is a good use case that I think might be wrong though.
Actually, it's a good use case and it actually happens. So what happens in BSc NSC case? So not all companies are allowed to directly interact with the BSc NSC APIs. There are only like 4 or 5 companies that are given the licenses. So the companies like Zerodha, what they do is they only interact with this third party, which in turn interact with the NSC BSc. So what Zerodha does is they will interact with 2 different companies. Like they will have APIs for 2 different companies. So sometimes this will work, or sometimes if this doesn't work, they will redirect to a different adapters. So what we can do is we can have 2 different concrete adapters, one interacting with one company and one interacting with another company. So if this works, use directly this one or use directly this one. This is actually a very good example.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Keerti,
guys.
I have one doubt. So here the code for analytics tool, the code is not like, for example, tomorrow there comes another tool. It's not JSON analytics tool or some other tool, HTML analytics tool or something. But here the code is hard coding JSON analytics tool dot analyze in the concrete class. Isn't it difficult, like in line number 48? So if I have to replace another tool, this is also third party tool only. If some other
And that
third
is,
party tool.
I think someone had pointed it out also, that you want to design the tool on the fly. You could actually pass the tool like in the constructor and do on the basis of that. For now, like there's one tool and I've done like this. You could pass the tool in the constructor and do analyze on that.
Just have a factory here, right? Of iFactory, and then we have a factory of tools, considering we can have multiple tools tomorrow.
Like instead of factory, just think of it like there's a tool base class, like how you're creating would be factory, but there's an analytics tool base class, and say there is JSON analytics tool, HTML analytics tool, XML analytics tool, and all of that, right? So based on that, you could pass your tool in this and you could use that.
Thanks.
But then they will need to have the same function, right? API to call, which will
Right.
not be possible because it will be third parties.
But suppose like it is like people are saying suppose, right? So suppose if there is, say, a base class, say.
Actually, what happens is a good example of this is you need to have another. Why you need a interfaces? Because tomorrow, if you want to have another kind of third party app which you want to use, so what you will do is just take out one concrete adapter, and then you inside the private what you have done, no, JSON analytic tool, you would have another third party which will then again call the API of that tool. Like now you have analyzed data, it could have some execute data or something.
But if all of them like are coming from the same base class, you could have like analyzed data in the base class, and like that is one way of doing it, or have multiple tools over here. Like that is
That would actually depend upon your use case, right? So
Yeah,
generally
depends on
companies that are using third-party tool, basically adapter patterns, are basically interacting with different adapters that are doing the same work essentially.
But their APIs might not be same, no? Like
Yeah. So in that case scenario, you have I mean you have a different class for them, right? So here you are literally having a let's say you're having a interface analytics tool, or let's say a real life example that I worked on. You're having an interface adapter, then you're having a different adapters, Oracle adapter, Google Cloud adapter, then your Talio adapter, etc, right? And those are handling the entire serialization of the data that you're sending them. Now what your adapter interface is doing, so all these adapters are inheriting from an adapter interface that is basically giving you functions like create an application, delete an application, all the generic functions that an adapter must have. So that is how you go in those case scenarios.
Makes sense. Yep. Cool. Okay, guys, go sleep now because you have to show up tomorrow. Like otherwise you guys won't show up tomorrow. So please show up at 9 and tomorrow we'll sit and talk. Okay, till whatever time you want. Please practice the quiz, practice the design patterns, ask doubts on Discord. Yes? Okay. Can I get some energy, or have people have already slept or what? At least say bye, bye, bye. Good night. Okay, good night, everyone. Go sleep.
Bye.